Hey, welcome in. We are at Rodney Scott's Whole Hog Barbecue. There is an entire hog, by the way, an entire pig on one of the smokers behind us. It's kind of bright back there, but you guys might be able to see the smoke rising from the smokers back there. We'll go get a photo a little bit later on. Little T will send it out. The entire hog just laid flat right there.
Yeah, I love an open kitchen where you can sit in the dining room and you can actually see what's going on behind it. And they've even got the, as you said, the pit behind us, which is really cool.
You can see the pit back there. And I love that smell, man. When you smell charcoal and hickory and all the woods they're using, that is a heck of a smell right there. It's a top 10 smell.
Hey, you can have this smell for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving
with the Rodney Scott's Pit Cooked Barbecue, the spatchcock turkey cooked
I love we've taught you a new phrase.
Directly over coals, seasoned with their famous rib rub and Rod's original sauce. I really didn't know what a spatchcock was. Did you?
I did not. I had never heard that word before. So when you mispronounced it the first time, I was like, sounds right to me.
No,
well, they left the S off of the original copy. So it was a patchcock, but it is the spatchcock.
If you hadn't been corrected, I rolled my whole life knowing patchcock.
But pre-order the Pit Cooked turkey, selection of sides, meals, desserts. You can go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com to order right there. We'll be talking about it for the next couple of weeks on the next round, and we'll have that QR code. We've got a link on our website, so you can do it right there.
Right there on our website. Richard Dunaway says spatchcock and kickstand have to be the saying of the day from the show.
Oh, man, I want new T-shirts in 2025 with sayings like that on it.
My kickstand's down.
Hey, Morgan's here, big Alabama fan, just driven down from Kentucky as he always does. We may talk about him a little bit later on. And then our friend Steph's here. Say you run a gym without saying you run a gym. You walk in November with your T-shirt rolled up, showing off your guns in
November.
that. I asked her how the workouts were going, and her daughter goes, obviously good. Look at her arms.
Yeah, obviously good. I mean, are they cut off T-shirts? Is that what it is? A cut off T-shirt in November, or is it rolled up?
She rolls them some bitches.
Rolls it up. Yeah. Here for the show, the gun show is what she's here for. Yeah.
That's right. Sun's out, guns out, baby. Yeah, we're at the Rodney Scott's in Trussville. Now, they got several locations. They've got the one that is right there in Homewood. They've got another one coming to North Shelby County. It's going to be a really cool development out there.
It's going to be really close to us.
Yeah, that's right. I can't wait to eat there.
And closest to you, but me and Dunaway will be, 10 minutes away from it?
Yeah, I love these ribs. And when they first got to town, I'd heard they were coming to town. And I'll be honest, I was not really overexcited.
No, you know what you were like? Another barbecue.
It's like,
we got a million.
I remember bringing you guys out to the original location in Avondale.
That's right.
Yeah,
and we went on a rib kick. I think I was going there once or twice a week for about 2 months, and they opened right around 4th of July that year. And I remember we're getting 4th of July, getting slabs of ribs out by the pool.
Yeah, me too. Because I'm not a big rib guy. I'll go ahead and tell you.
You don't like ribs?
I don't like rib because they get really, really messy when you pour the sauce over them. But everyone's like, you got to try Rodney Scott's ribs because this guy's a Beard Award-winning chef. That's like, he's a Beard Award-winning chef and he's a pit master. Come on.
Did you know what that meant?
Yeah, I did. I'm from a mud puddle, but I've been educating a little bit. And I know what a Beard Award-winning. Because of the guy from downtown.
Alabama's known for a lot of things. Probably football jumps out the most. But, I think it became kind of an interesting running weird thing that we had so many American Idol winners and finalists.
That's true. That was odd.
And I also think James Beard Award winners. I mean, we've got multiple wins in the city of Birmingham, which is great. It's insane.
I think it's 3 American Idol winners, 3 Beard Award winners since I've been following the Beard Awards. I learned what that was.
And Rodney.
Yeah. Now Charleston probably counts Rodney too, but he's got restaurants here. He's here a lot.
Hey, this is Jalen Hurts, man. Oklahoma and Alabama. That's right. You both claim him, right?
Yeah. But so when we went out there that first time, I got the ribs because everyone said get the ribs, and then just because I was anxious and hungry and a fat boy, I'm gonna put the ribs on it before I could get the sauce on it. And I didn't put any sauce on it. That's how good the ribs were.
You didn't eat it. Yep. Best ribs I've ever had in a restaurant. I'll go and tell you that.
Yeah, we talked about that years ago when we were back on terrestrial radio.
You heard him right. What? Best ribs ever had in a restaurant.
Well, I mean,
because he can. I mean,
no. Y'all read way too much into some of the things I say.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody handles their meat the best. Right?
All I'm saying is, Restaurants can mess up ribs, and Rodney does not do that.
No, he doesn't. And the first time I walked past the open pit, they had a mop-like stick, slobbing that sauce on it in there. Yeah. It was like a mop, and it wasn't they weren't doing this. They were mopping that sauce on there.
I wanted to read some of these sauces and just see what you guys think.
All right.
Like, which way would you go? The Rodney sauce, which you can get with the spatchcock turkey.
Hang on, I'll show them to you. That's Kathy's.
Yeah, that's the way I would roll
sauce.
because it's got Rodney's name on it.
This is Rodney.
Vinegar, red and black pepper with a bit of lemon. This traditional sauce used during the pit cooking of their meats.
Yep.
It is a great finishing sauce. Just a few dashes will do.
Yeah.
The other sauce, vinegar based, tad of spice, slightly sweeter with a bit of rich tomato sauce blended in, a little thicker for those who like a pourable sauce with a little tang. That's more me.
Yeah.
I like a little bit more thickness to the sauce. Kathy's sauce, I have not had this one yet, but I'm definitely going to try it. Richer and sweeter tomato and brown sugar with just a touch of vinegar. This is for those who like a little bit of sweetness on the plate.
God, it smells good.
The Bama 16.
That's this one.
Is that national championships or are they short?
It's the Bama 18 now.
It could be the amount of different things in this.
I think it's the amount of ingredients.
Thick and sweet. This is Alabama style barbecue sauce, Bama 16 sauce complex, rich with a blend of herbs and spices in a tomato and brown sugar base. And then finally, the white sauce. It's amazing
Oh, wait a minute. That's gotcha.
how polarizing people are on the white sauce.
Well,
I like the white sauce because it's mayonnaise based.
And it gets called the Alabama white sauce. Like, I think we're the state of origin of the white sauce. Like, when you go outside the state,
I
they
thought
call
it was North Carolina.
I thought so too, but when you go outside of the state, a lot of people call
I'll
it
read
Alabama
directly.
white sauce.
The now famous North Alabama white
See?
sauce, delicious blend of mayo, vinegar, and pepper, traditionally served with pit cooked chicken and turkey, but they also love it on the chicken wings and a salad dressing. How about that? And to dip the pork skins in, which when we had lunch the other day, they did bring it over.
Yeah. So TNR fan 91 says, got to be Brown's favorite remote spot to do a show. It's hard to beat. I got to be honest with you. We've done some fun places. It's hard to beat.
Could you show Rodney some things?
All right. Beard
What do you
award
think?
winner.
What do you think, Dunaway?
Oh, I think he would. Yes.
Y'all so overplay this.
And Rodney would be very nice about it and listen to him. Yes.
My Believer loves a good white sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. On turkey, like I'm going to take some turkey home to the family. They do a really good smoked turkey here. So the white sauce is fantastic.
Yeah, the people are back and forth on the vinegar-based barbecue sauce. You hear Rodney Scott, you can get the traditional, what you're used to, but he is from a part of the country where the vinegar-based sauce, and I think that was his Beard award-winning sauce is the vinegar base.
Yep.
And I like to throw the curveballs. I like to mix it up a little bit. I like a little of the both. And but again, the rib's so good you don't even need sauce on it because they're cooked into the juice is cooked into it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for it to and this place has separated itself for us to have so many great barbecue restaurants, and for us to come in and honestly, we've been saying this for years. These are the best ribs.
Yep. So anyway, all those things to say, Rodney Scott's in Trussville, great place. You can just go to our website if you can't remember the one Lance mentioned, nextroundlive.com. We got a link right there where you can go place your Thanksgiving order. My mother-in-law has actually done this. They live here in town, has done this several Thanksgivings, and it is a hit. Now, we've been doing just the smoked turkey breast, but they've got the spatchcock turkey, which I don't know if Charlie is messing with us or if he doesn't know what that is, but spatchcock is when they cut out. I know
he probably doesn't. I mean, we didn't know it until I did the read on Monday.
Yeah.
Do you think we've had spatchcock and just haven't?
Oh, possibly.
100%.
Yeah. Spatchcock is when they cut out the backbone so that the turkey, instead of the breast being rounded like that, everything lays flat, so it cooks much more.
Can't really see this picture from where we are, but you see how diced up it is. I like how thinly sliced it is, and you don't have to deal with, as you said, the bone.
Yeah, it is really, really good. It's a spineless bird, the old spatchcock.
Southern sides, great desserts. They've got it all for Thanksgiving, and you can knock out your entire meal.
So Dunaway is going to leave here. You're going to head downtown, you and Little T, and you're going to Bama Hoops against Illinois. I haven't checked. Have you checked the line lately, Lance? Are we still hanging around 8.5?
Last I saw was 8. Alabama minus 8.
8. So Dunaway, you feel like this is a critical game for the Tide?
Well, I mean, it's obviously not critical when it comes to making the NCAA tournament. There's so many games left, but you got a stretch of games here pre-conference that started with the road game at Purdue the other night, and you just want to get a little momentum going. You need a little something good to happen against a quality team with all these superstars on the roster just to get a little momentum going, a little confidence going. Because if you have a good game tonight and you win in a building you don't usually win in Birmingham, and you play good against Illinois, then maybe that'll help you down the roads when you're playing the Purdues and the Creightons and the North Carolinas of the world before you get into conference play.
Yeah, I would think so. I was trying to get an updated line here, but as you know, there are a ton of college
I
basketball
gave it out
games.
as 8. And I'll go on I told you guys I've got a side on this. I am playing Bama minus 8.
So you like Bama minus 8?
Yeah, I like them in a bounce back spot here. That Purdue team's good. I know they got run last night against Marquette.
Another good team.
But, you play on the road against what is a top 10, top 15 team, and they only turn it over 3 times. It's tough to win.
Yeah, that's the thing, we don't get in college football for the most part, is just a number of great contests, like Auburn going to play at Houston to start off the season. In football, we'd get one of those, right?
Yeah.
And then they would get into conference play.
That's right.
You don't play that many games. But in basketball, Auburn goes and they win at Houston. Now they're going off to Maui, where they're going to play possibly 3 teams that are, as Bruce calls them, Elite 8 teams. Then they come back and go to Duke. For Alabama, they've already been on campus at Purdue. Now they get a neutral site or virtual home game against Illinois tonight. They still have that trip to Chapel Hill. They've got Creighton at home. They too play Houston. They play Notre Dame. I mean, just a lot of big games before you even get into conference play. That's what's great about this time of year in college basketball. You don't get knocked out of the NCAA tournament by playing these games.
Yeah, and I was going to bring this point up because we talked about, the college football playoff rankings and some teams that if they wouldn't have played these early out of conference games would be right there in the mix. And some of these teams, like a Texas A&M, you could go on and basically book them in a college football playoff if they wouldn't have played Notre Dame. So I think the scheduling in basketball will continue. Nate Oates was one of these guys that was always behind it. It really helped that Alabama team, not only with the strength of schedule going into the tournament with seeding, but also prepared them for a nice tournament run.
Yeah,
I think the SEC is really good, but
if I remember, Morgan can help me here. I think they were an 11 loss.
I thought it was 12. I thought they were 25-12. I could be
maybe
wrong.
A 12 loss, number 4 seed. But I thought going into the tournament they had lost 11 games. You count the final loss for their 12
maybe,
losses.
Yeah.
I thought they'd lost 11 regular season games and the one in Nashville, and they got a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. That tells you, hey, that schedule was pretty dang good.
Yeah, and it was a schedule that by and large, those big games Alabama played, they did not win. And still they were a 4 seed. That's why when you schedule games like this, right, like playing at Purdue, if you're Auburn playing basically at Houston, it'll be a neutral site game. That really doesn't impact you. By the way, a lot of people are like, will it count as a road game or neutral site? It doesn't matter. It's a quad 1. It's a quad 1 either way. I mean, that was going to be a quad 1 if it was played in Auburn, Houston, or a neutral site.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a quad 1 win. So I really don't think you have to worry about where that game was played. Now, Illinois tonight, I don't know where they'll finish. I don't know if this would be a quad 1, but it's a neutral site. So if I remember right, Illinois would only have to be in the top 50. Is that right, Jim? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
I think it's top 50 to be a quad 1.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that since
25-12
last March.
So it was that last loss that put them at 12. But yeah, going into the tournament, you're right. So they were roughly 21-11.
Is he bringing you guys some food?
Oh yeah.
Is that what he's doing?
You guys, he's bringing everybody food. You guys, nothing, man. We're all gonna eat it. Thank you, Aaron. Look at this.
Look at
this. All right, we got some turkey. We got some brisket. Oh, here's the white sauce.
Yeah. Can we get some small plates? Is that possible?
Yeah. Yeah, 3 of them, or a little tea. A little tea maybe won't some.
How good that
number
cornbread
4.
look?
That cornbread looks amazing.
Have we bought Morgan's dinner yet?
We told him when we got here, Morgan's dinner is on us.
Yeah.
Say, here you go, Morgan.
Now, Morgan, if you want to eat off this plate, that would make things a lot easier.
No, Morgan, you got your own.
You get whatever you want.
You got your own.
We're just kidding. But no, I mean, I think this is why you play those games, and I think Auburn saw that last year. Like, Auburn won the conference championship at the tournament, and they were probably a 4 seed going in, 4 seed coming out. So you know what Bruce Pearl said? Let's go ahead and schedule the crap out of this team, and it doesn't really matter if you win or lose those games.
Yeah, that's exciting. T could talk about this more, but Auburn's schedule this year has to be more exciting for the Auburn fans than it was last year before the conference tournament, just playing these massive games.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Don't you agree, though, that depending on how this thing plays out, and I know these schedules are done a couple of years out, these home and homes. Right. Don't you think less teams, if you're getting bumped by an out-of-conference game you schedule, and other teams aren't playing those games and they're getting in the college football playoff, you would have to schedule it differently, right?
Well,
By the way, as you can chew for a minute, because I don't know what's on TV, but it looks like a wiffle ball league.
Get Dunaway to tell you about it. Dunaway knows all about this.
This was on at the sports book. You couldn't bet on it, but it was on one of the big. As the night went on,
This does not look entertaining.
oh, it was mesmerizing. Now it was on a Las Vegas vitamin, as I like to call them, and have been drinking all day. It was the night games of the sports book, so I was winding down.
Look at that ragtag crew that is like.
Well, those are the other teams, and you're in basically a warehouse. This could have been a COVID event, for all I know, but you have basically ghost runners, 2-man teams. I mean, this will be a fascinating league, and those are other teams in the tournament. The games go fast, and you have a league and a bracket, and it's
there is not a sideline reporter.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it looks like something we would put on.
They wanted Emily Grace. She turned them down.
We would put away. I mean, look, we don't pay a lot, but we probably pay more than whatever this production is. I mean, like, what network is this?
It is on FanDuel. Has its own website, its own network. FanDuel puts this on there, the sponsor, and I was on one of the networks. The guy that does the baseball. I think he does a baseball pregame show on Fox is the play-by-play guy.
Really?
Yeah, they'll show him in a second.
So we're not going to get Peter Gammons and Harold Reynolds on there? I had never seen that. We used to have our buddy Jimmy Anthony, his first house right after he got married. He had a really good wiffle ball set up in the backyard. So we had some incredible, like, long Saturdays and Sundays over there.
So where I went to church when I was a kid, First Baptist Church of Sax, back in the day when I was a kid, we had a parking.
Sax is a real place, like First Baptist Church of Sax.
Sax is a community outside of Anniston. Like, it is not a official municipality. It's like unincorporated community. But yeah, it's a real place. And when what did you think? You think I'd made it up all these years?
Well, I knew it was a school.
Oh yeah. So that's where I went to church, and we had a back parking lot, and there was like a retaining wall over half the parking lot, so that was perfect for the outfield fence. And then there was the edge of the parking lot in the left field fence, and the parking lot was kind of squared, so it came out as a diamond, and they painted bases on for us, like base paths on for us. So we had this grand, it was lit because it was a parking lot, and it was just out back, and it was bothering nobody. We would play till like 2 a.m. in that place. It was so much fun.
We had we had one street in Forest Brook where we got the spray paint out and painted the bases on the street. You think the neighbors like that?
No, they did not.
We were always getting run up.
Over it.
You know, we would find the flat yards, and the flat yard, we'd play football in it for like 2 times, and then they'd run us off. Don't mess up our grass.
Yeah.
I get all that now, the older you get.
Yeah, the
older you get, the more you're like, God,
not only would we ruin their grass, we just turn their water on and use their hose to drink out of it. And you know, when you have a hose on in the house, you can hear it like everywhere in the house.
Yeah, they're like, turn my water on.
When Harper was little, we had a little slight downhill in our front yard, and I had my grass looking really good, but I decided to get a slip and slide one Saturday.
Just you and Maggie?
No, it was for the kids, and I had the whole kids' neighborhoods over, and they went after it all day, and I took that tarp up at night after the sun had gone down. The next day I went out there, it had nothing but basically a trench. It had worn out all the grass. All summer long, had that little trench right in the middle of the yard. Took a while for that to grow back.
Yeah, you hated that.
I never liked.
You pulled in the driveway. That's all you saw, right?
I never liked the slip and slide. It was like
I agree with you.
I got itchy, like really bad on that grass.
Because of the grass.
Yeah, and it would always you would have it nice and neat and laid out flat. And about 3 kids go down and it gets all wrinkled and dirty.
Modern day, they have spikes that keep it tight.
We didn't have that back then.
Yeah, and then you got to keep the kids from sliding off onto the spike. Get a little injury at that point.
Yeah, we are Rodney Scott's in Trussville. Rodney Scott's Barbecue. You can just go to nextroundlive.com. I've got one of these ribs. We've got a link there at nextroundlive.com where you can order that spatchcock turkey for Thanksgiving. Let Rodney do the cooking.
Yeah, let them take care of everything. I mean, look, we're getting tomorrow we're a week out. If you haven't planned your meal, this is going to be the simple way to do it, and you're going to be the hero. You're going to look like a genius because food's going to be fantastic. Spatchcock turkey cooked on their pits directly over the coals, seasoned with their famous rib rub and Rod's original sauce. You can scan their QR code. You can go online. We've got a link up at our website, but they've got the pit cooked turkey, selection of sides, meals, desserts, all right there. For more information, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Okay, so You guys love hypotheticals, or at least Lance does.
No, I love
our show is built on hypotheticals.
I can throw you guys hypotheticals for the next hour if you want me to.
Well, let me get you started. NH3425 with a hypothetical here. Flip the roles. We'll start with this one. Kalen DeBoer is the Auburn coach. Hugh Freeze is the Alabama coach. No, wait a minute. I get it now. Right. Kalen DeBoer is coaching Alabama's basketball team. Nate Oates is coaching Alabama's football team. Freeze is coaching hoops. Pearl is coaching football. What would their records be?
So I think both Freeze and DeBoer could have a lot more success with basketball.
You think so?
I do.
Why so?
I just more than Oates and not more than Oates and Pearl.
No, I'm talking about. I think it's much more difficult to go in and coach football, being a basketball coach, than being a basketball coach, or excuse me, a football coach coaching basketball.
But now Freeze coached basketball.
Yeah, I know.
It was women's basketball.
And DeBoer was
and I'm not taking anything away.
Sport athlete.
Yeah.
I think it's it's less nuanced to a degree, and if you have like one or two absolute studs. I remember coaching basketball, and I had some ringers, and it was a Park League team at Homewood, and hell, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right,
we won every game.
Yeah. Well, here's what I would say, Dunaway. I think the first question.
And I don't think you can do that in football.
I think the first question you got to answer is how much of coaching any sport is motivation. Like Nate Oates, Bruce Pearl, Kalen DeBoer, Hugh Freeze, they're all natural motivators, or they wouldn't have gotten as far as they've gotten in the coaching profession, right? So how much of it is just motivation? And then I let my assistants do the coaching. Like, I feel like, this sounds insane, but I feel like if you took a highly successful basketball coach, Tom Izzo, Mike Krzyzewski, John Calipari, somebody like that, and put them as a football coach, but built an amazing staff around them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if they had great coordinators and they were just delegating.
That's right. And they are the motivation, they're the organization, and they let their coordinators coordinate. I think you'd have a really good football team.
I think Mike Davis played for a national championship as Indiana's head coach.
That is correct.
I think Nick Saban now would have more success with Indiana basketball than Mike Davis did.
Say that again.
I think if a guy like Nick Saban took over Indiana's basketball program, he would have had more success than Mike Davis.
Again, Mike Davis coached for a national championship.
He did, and then he was fired.
He was?
And I just think Nick Saban would recruit with everybody at the highest level, and he would motivate, and he would have a really good bench coach there that could figure everything out. I think a guy like Nick Saban would have success, major success, if he had the right people around him, which I think he would get. I think it would be really difficult for Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl or any basketball coach. Now, back to your point, if they got the right coaches around them,
well, that's going to be critical. That's going to be critical. Now, I think it would be harder. I think it'd be harder to go to the basket. It feels like Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates have to make more in-the-moment decisions than a football coach does.
Do they really?
I don't know.
I think they do in a big game.
Well, I mean, you got to call a play every 30 seconds, every 45 seconds.
Well, not if I've got my coordinators. That's my point. Like, if I'm a head coach.
You're not coaching then. That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to ruin the argument. But, I mean, if you're coaching, you're coaching. If you're just a CEO, then, Nick Saban, I'd take him to run car dealerships and businesses and restaurants and, countries.
I mean, he could be the CEO. I mean, if Nick Saban was the NFL commissioner, he could do every bit or better than Roger Goodell.
He'd be fantastic. So you just surround your people with good people, and that's then you're not really doing the coaching, though. You're just the boss. You're the CEO, which I think is what Nick Saban was really good at.
I think the better hypothetical is, and what I thought you were originally going to ask, if Hugh Freeze was Alabama's coach this year and Kalen DeBoer was Auburn's coach.
Yeah, well, I thought that was the initial question. So on that hypothetical, I don't know. I mean, if they're coaching the same personnel, I don't know how much different it really is, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you think the difference is?
I think so. Alabama right now is.
I think they're probably a 2-loss team.
8-2.
Yep, and I
think Hugh would have found a way to lose 3 or 4.
No, he would not have. Not with Alabama's roster. You kidding me? Hugh Freeze with Jalen Milroe?
I just think the system works for Kalen DeBoer's system.
I mean, Kalen DeBoer is a much better coach than Hugh Freeze.
And to be fair, you're as big a Hugh Freeze supporter as there is out there. I mean, like you are, but you basically fought for this.
It's not even close. I mean, if you just look, and I know it's a smaller sample size, but Look at top 25s, look at top 10s, look at championships, look at everything. I mean, what's a better program, Washington or Ole Miss? I mean, traditionally Washington, but Ole Miss in the last decade for sure, right?
Yeah, I'd take Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, if Kalen DeBoer, what he did at Washington, and I still think there's special stuff coming up this year. And that's what's going to be so amazing is you lose to Vanderbilt. You know, it was DEFCON 1 at that point. They almost lose to South Carolina. I think they've turned this thing around. I'm not going to be surprised at all if they make some serious noise in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I get the feeling from listening to you talk, you've talked yourself into Alabama being the best team in the country right now.
With Milroe playing like that.
Yeah,
but you know, my question, we can save this for the main show if you want to. My question is, what keeps him from going back and playing like he did between Georgia and LSU?
That's a problem.
I think the answer to that question is, why was he playing that way?
No,
and there's several different answers that all could be true.
Was he injured?
Everybody has said no.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen Bama and Bourbon yet. We recorded it earlier today.
I have not seen this.
And I never pry because, you know, Aaron is part of the collective and he walks around that building and there's a lot of conversations he has that we're not privy to and we shouldn't be privy to. But he said one thing that really jumped out. He's like, this team really likes each other now.
Now? He said it now?
Maybe he didn't say now.
Okay.
And
well,
the
that's
point
a key
was,
word.
I know, yeah.
Okay.
But he said this team is really on the same page. I forgot exactly how he put it.
Okay.
And I know I love the fact that I said this is something that really jumped out to me, and now I'm butchering it.
Even say
But he basically made the point that where Alabama is right now, like these guys have really got each other's backs. And I think you saw it at the end of the Missouri game. You saw it when Sheridan, the offensive coaches, came down against LSU. It does seem to be a different energy when I watch Alabama on that sideline. And I think they have figured out the culture of Kalen DeBoer, what he is expecting of these guys. And I think they're all moving in the right direction.
I hope so. But I can't trust it yet, you know, because I don't know who they played since then. Since that Tennessee loss, they were so at Tennessee, they just didn't look. Jalen didn't look like himself, and the play calling wasn't exactly the same. I thought there was a lot of open receivers and open spaces for him to run, and he didn't run for some reason. So, you know, in my head, I thought he was hurt. They keep saying he wasn't hurt. So what was going on with him? LSU just isn't going to end up being, you know, very good. Vandy's going to end up being 6-6 too.
Yep. Tell me this: give me Alabama's darkest moment this year.
Probably.
I was there. I'm going to say it was Tennessee. I mean, that locker room situation wasn't good. I'll go ahead and tell you.
Yeah. So with that, I was going to say on field, it was Milroe play against Tennessee, but also the defense against that Vanderbilt offense.
Yeah.
But my point was going to be, I mean, I can go through a lot of scenarios where Oregon hasn't looked good, Ohio State hasn't looked good. I mean, I think we can find chinks in every armor.
What did you mean by that locker room?
I've never gone into a lot of details, and I will not. But Little T was back there. She would tell you what the mood was like post game Tennessee, and it was not a. I wouldn't have given this team a chance to be 8-2 right now.
Right.
If you put all the money in the world on the table for me, I would have said no.
It's like after a bad show, we got a lot of finger pointing. It's Brown's fault.
There were some finger pointing. Yeah, but I'm not going to get into
some
too many
helmets
details.
thrown.
But it was just not a good vibe, and you know, hats off. I'm probably the only guy that gives Gene Chizik any credit for 2010 national championship. But that guy managed a shitstorm from August through the national championship game and kept them from imploding on each other and melting under the pressure of people wanting a guy suspended and this and that. And he kept the Wolves at the door, and they won a national championship. And it took somebody to be the leader. So I give Kalen DeBoer and his coordinators credit from picking up what I saw in Knoxville and having them together right now with everyone's darling to make the college football playoffs in Atlanta. I'm fearful that this team, if they go back to reading their headlines and put a little bit more me into it and not enough we, that they could have trouble on Saturday in Norman. I don't trust them.
Let me ask you this, because you're high on Alabama, and Jim obviously is wait and see. outcome in Norman would make you say, okay, we just won? I mean, what would you see in Norman that would make you say, maybe I've jumped the gun here?
I mean, a loss, I guess.
Well, of course. It doesn't matter.
No, Milroe playing like he played against Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because without Milroe, I really don't know how good this team
so
is.
Even in a win.
I do think defense got a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
Even in a win, if Milroe is playing like he did against Tennessee, you're like,
But that defense played good enough at Tennessee to win the game.
There's no doubt they did. They only gave up 24 points on the road.
Yeah, but they gave up 24 in the second half.
If their offense had done what they should have done in the first half, that wouldn't have been so detrimental.
Okay, without seeing seeding right now, if you were like gun to head, you have to pick a team that is going to.
Or if you just because that's going to be a great question. But South Carolina, for instance, the decision to do what you did before the half,
that was bad.
And then after that, I mean, South Carolina had a 2-point conversion and then ball in the hand again.
Yeah.
A couple of chances to win that football game, to walk it off.
Right.
Open receiver.
Yeah.
Open receiver below. You throw that to the open receiver and then kick a field goal to walk it off in Tuscaloosa if you choose not to throw it deep there.
Yeah.
I get it. Missouri doesn't count because to me Missouri was Drew Pine at quarterback. It wasn't Brady Cook. He went out and tried to play. Drew Pine threw that game to Alabama.
It was still a shutout.
It was. But
yeah.
I mean, you go back and watch it. Alabama did some things, but most of it was handed to them by Missouri. And then LSU was great.
And if I went 1 through 15, if I just gave you my 15 best teams in college football, I think I would get to South Carolina before I got to 15.
In college football?
Yeah. Right now, I'm talking about best teams at this particular moment.
And I'm with you on that, but I can't trust them either.
Well, I don't think you can trust anybody.
Yeah.
But back to the question I was going to ask you guys, gun to head, you got to give me one team that is your team to ride from here on out. You can only have one team.
I get that team all the way to the end.
I think I would hitch my wagon to Alabama.
I mean, I trust the brand, even though it's a different coach.
You brought this up earlier, Dunaway. The Seth McLaughlin injury is massive.
Huge for
the quarterback for that offensive line that is already struggling, and they have been one of the best, least penalized teams in all of football.
And they've already lost their left tackle.
Yeah.
So
Josh Simmons gone for the year a month ago.
Two most important positions on the offense.
That's
line,
right.
Left tackle and center.
Yeah.
So they've lost them both.
Center left is down to one guy.
Yeah.
And I would not hit. I'm starting to get the feeling, and I will not play this game. I'll sit back and watch and pull. But I'm starting to get the feeling that Indiana's going to play right with them. Like, I'm not saying they're going to win the game.
It was my hot take today, was that Indiana covers and/or wins the game after this injury, because you're already shuffling the offensive line around for the left tackle. Now you're having to jumble it around for two positions on that offensive line, and even at Ohio State's depth.
You know what's going to be crazy? If Indiana did win that game, that would be the one team that you could be like, they haven't really had a down moment.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about how bad their schedule is up until this point, but if they were to beat Ohio State, they haven't had a down moment at all.
No, not at all. No, you're absolutely right. Indiana will be the one team that has seemed to play the most consistent football. Really, the only time they've trailed was at Michigan State, right?
Yeah, so they were down 10-0.
Michigan State jumped down 10-0. That's the only time they've trailed.
They ended up winning that game like 42-10.
Yeah.
But, against Michigan, their second half, they turned the football over. Curtis Rourke threw a red zone pick. They did not play well in the second half offensively at all. I think people forget how good this Indiana defense has been, though. They're 7th in scoring defense right now. They're 10th in the nation in sacks. And now they're going against an offensive line that's got major question marks. I can't wait for that game on Saturday.
And what's crazy is I love me some Dan Lanning. But it may be Dan Lanning is why I don't trust Oregon.
I mean, he plays by his gut and makes some wild decisions.
That's like Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions. I mean, both those teams are really good, but when you start to take points off the board, just rolling the dice.
Yep. I thought he cost himself the first game against DeBoer in Washington last year by not taking field goals extra points, threes and ones.
Yeah. And then DeBoer got very aggressive at the end and went for, wasn't that like a 4th and 3 out near midfield?
It was.
And he let Penix throw, and they sealed the game right there. So DeBoer's gamble worked, and none of Lanning seemed to.
Can you guys imagine if Lanning, who you kick that 3, I mean, everybody kicks it there because you go up 6.
Yeah.
And Braden Locke, the way the offense was playing, they hadn't had a first down. They're not going to drive the field on that defense. You could have gotten a pass interference. Something crazy could have put them in a field goal range. If they would have somehow lost that game, what would the narrative right now be with Dan Lanning?
Oh, it would have been horrible, because I never understand fake field goal. Ever, because let my offense just go do it. I mean, if I'm a bad offense, I can understand a fake field goal.
Early in the game, 45-yard field goal, something like that. I mean, there are moments where you're like, damn, that was a pretty good call.
Well, let's just line up and go for it.
It's a pretty good call when it works.
Yeah.
It's never a good call when it does.
You
never
remember
say like
Little Giants with Mark D'Antonio walking it off against Notre Dame?
Yeah. I mean, it's always a good call then.
But the reason we see so few fake field goals now is because, or even fake punts, but fake field goals particularly is because, well, you know what? The metrics tell me that instead of faking a field goal at 4th and 4 or 4th and 7, I'm just going to line up and run my offense and run a play, and I've got a better chance of that working than a fake field goal.
Coaches have become far more aggressive on 4th down, which means now I just go ahead and, like you said, play an offensive play on 4th down. I don't fake a field goal.
And I don't think everyone sells out to block a field goal like they used to, unless it's a game ender, right?
They're starting to now.
They're doing it in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're blocking way more field goals in the NFL than they used to.
So because you're playing back, how they could fake it. So I'm in field goal safety on defense. So I worry about him. I don't trust Penn State. I don't trust Texas. I don't trust anybody. It's going to be wide open.
Yeah.
Who can put 4 games together?
I mean, Penn State and Texas, it's a lot of brand. People dog out Indiana and they're 10-0. Penn State and Texas have done absolutely nothing to get to the spot they're in right now.
Yeah.
Outside of where they started.
Yep.
We're going to do an exercise here in a second, but we're at Rodney Scott's Barbecue. I'm going to let Lance tell you about the Thanksgiving special with the spatchcock turkey they've got. You can get more information, not just on their website that Lance will tell you, but also nextroundlive.com. There's a link right there on the front page for all of this.
Yeah, spatchcock turkey cooked on their pits directly over the coal, seasoned with their famous rib rub, Rod's original sauce. You can go to Rodney Scott's BBQ.com, RodneyScottsBBQ.com. You can go to our link, which is on our website. We got a QR code. But you can order everything. They all-inclusive turkey. You don't have to deal with anything this Thanksgiving. A great selection of sides, meals, and desserts. RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
So Lance said you won't get past 15 teams before I tell you I think that team's better, or that South Carolina's better than that team.
With all that said, South Carolina almost lost this weekend.
They did. I mean, but
still a ranked Missouri team.
I know.
They beat.
I mean, Missouri's not awful.
I mean, Missouri's lost 3 games, all to ranked teams this year.
Yeah, now they've gotten blown out in 2 of them. Yeah. That's what makes it look worse. Oregon, you would say, is obviously better than South Carolina.
Yes.
Ohio State?
Yes.
Texas?
Yes.
Penn State?
I don't know. I
only got to 4.
No, if Penn State played in Columbia Saturday night, South Carolina wins the game.
Columbia Dunaway is a force multiplier. I mean, that's a tough place to play a night game.
You give me neutral site. I think Penn State would be a 3.5, 4-point favorite. I think I'd play South Carolina.
You know, South Carolina against Oregon, Ohio State, Texas. That's not automatic for me.
Yeah, I'll lean those other, though, are better, but not Penn State. I'm not going that.
Again, you put these games in Williams-Brice Stadium in a night game, it's going to be a different situation.
Okay, let's go Roman Coliseum, and Penn State or South Carolina is fighting for my life. I'm taking South Carolina.
Have they flooded it with sharks?
Not yet.
Okay. Indiana, I mean, again, let's just talk neutral site because Williams-Brice is a game changer.
I feel like Indiana's a little bit better.
Well, like
Indiana would beat Penn State. That would be a really good game.
Them and South Carolina would be a good game. We've seen Notre Dame.
Be a really good game. I think I would lean Notre Dame, but
we've seen Alabama, and as we've pointed out, it came down to the final possession.
Yeah, I still think Alabama is better.
South Carolina would beat Miami.
Yep. You agree?
I think so too.
Yeah.
Fun game, but Miami's defense, I think Sellers would eat them up. Now, they would have trouble with Cam Ward. Everybody else.
Let me go on and say this. South Carolina would win the ACC or the Big 12 right now.
I think so too.
I mean, I really think they would.
I think
and
so
they're
too.
the best Group 5.
Yeah. Now, Ole Miss whipped South Carolina. It remains
I'm
one of the
still
most.
going to say Ole Miss is better.
Yeah. And by the way, every time you let DJ Lagway get another game under his belt, I put Florida in contention in the Big 12 too. That team's getting good.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what kind of sucks is it's a sleepy early 11 o'clock game.
No,
with Florida and Ole Miss.
Yeah, and
that place will still be rocking.
And you know, Lane is not going to let them sneak up on them. He can't. And they're playing too good.
He can. Yes.
Do you think the bye week after Georgia helped or hurt?
I think it helped.
Yeah, gives you a chance to
But sometimes teams come out sluggish post bye. I mean, that would be your concern, right?
But much like playing Alabama, Georgia's like you got hit by a truck. You were in a car wreck, and you need to recoup a little bit.
Vandy after Georgia was not easy for Alabama, right? By the time they by the time they went to Nashville, we were
the national champion.
Their stuff didn't stink.
That's right. Yeah, and they found out quickly it did, and the hardest way you could find out.
And that's one thing you notice about Alabama, and I'll give Kane Womack, whoever has done it, leadership on the team. You know, one thing you have not seen as much of since Vanderbilt, you haven't seen the shit talking.
That's right. You talked about that a lot after that game.
I mean, it was embarrassing the way that's all they did the entire game, and Vandy kept sticking it in their eye. And since that, you haven't seen as much of that on either side of the ball, but specifically from that defense. And all that defense has done since then has been better.
Well, and I would say a lot of that is Malachi Moore was the guy that was really, the finger pointing and justifiably so.
But he was the exclamation point. But the whole team did.
Yeah, but I think internally, guys like Malachi Moore and Tyler Booker probably, along with you got to give Kayla DeBoer that staff credit, but they got it under control. Whoever brought it back in, I agree with you, man.
Watching that day, it was embarrassing to watch the way they were chatting up the Vandy kids, and
behind the whole time. By the way, never led the game,
and you kept chirping after a catch or after a tackle or whatever. I was like, "What are you guys doing, man?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?"
King MJ 205. We'll pause. Oh, Diet Coke. Thank you, my friend. I greatly.
Can I get a Diet Coke? That'd be great.
I'll take another one of these.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Boy, he regrets coming over here now, doesn't he?
No, he's got two hands.
Nice guy. DJ Lagway or Sellers to quarterback your team? King MJ 205 Sellers right now. I think Lagway's upside is tremendous.
No, I do too.
We're seeing Sellers play. I don't think I'd call it elite level football. Sellers, but he's really good.
I thought the two guys we'd be talking about were Nico and Jackson Arnold at this time.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
we're talking about
for all the wrong reasons. We are
Lamar Sellers.
I'd take both those kids over both of the ones you just named, over Nico and over Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
If you had Sellers or Lagway, a healthy Lagway or Sellers at Tennessee right now, the way Sellers is playing right now, and the way Lagway is playing right now, that team hadn't lost a game.
I'm not going to say it. I was going to say Sellers because you brought up Gene Chizik. Sellers just looks like a special guy that is really just learning the game.
You mean that in a good way?
Yeah.
No, you're not comparing him to Cam.
He's so big. I mean, he can't run like Cam, not even close. I mean, he can run, but not like Cam.
I mean,
Milroe without Cam's size is it's just pure speed is the closest we've seen to Cam.
I was so impressed. By the way, Dunaway, do they do an actual press conference after these Whiffle ball games?
They do.
This is stuff we did in like with the handheld camcorder when we were like sixth grade.
Yeah.
We used to do these interviews.
That's remarkable. This Whiffle ball thing is fascinating to me. Dunaway's been watching it on DraftKings Network. You watched it in Vegas.
Yeah, FanDuel.
FanDuel Network. And they've got it on here at Rodney Scott's Trussville. And it is it's different.
So are you still going on the teams?
Yeah, hang on one second, though. I was going to say something about Sellers, but I kind of lost my train of thought.
What kind of money will he get?
Well, that's going to be what's crazy is the people that come after him in the portal.
Thank you. You can keep this.
What if he can do trades?
It will be the fight. It'll be the fight of Shane Beamer's life to keep that guy in Columbia. I mean, because think of.
I would almost pay, it's almost like college teams need to get involved with organized crime. Like Dwight Manfredi, going back to the Tulsa King.
To keep Sellers?
Yeah, just keep your great players.
It'll be the fight of his life to keep Sellers, don't you think, Dunaway?
Can you imagine if Kirby came to one of these quarterbacks and somebody shows up at the facility?
I don't know. I mean, I think
the last time I'm coming by here, I want to let you know, you're not going to be calling on Lenore Sellers anymore.
I mean, I feel like South Carolina can spend a ton of money. They have alumni that are members at Augusta National.
Okay,
they do.
But we had an interesting collective talk last night.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of ins and outs and things that continue to evolve that we really don't know about.
There are a lot of changes coming up in NIL that people haven't paid attention to.
Yeah, and one of the big things, and Suttles talked about this a little bit on Pam and Bourbon today, is the valuation. Like, you're going to have to prove, if you're giving a guy $5 million and he's doing 10 tweets for you, that's not going to work.
There's going to be an independent party that says Lance Taylor's social media presence is worth this.
Yep.
And that's what you're going to be able to pay him.
And so
And it's going to be fair market value, and it is going to be determined by an independent party. It's not going to be the school saying.
Now, my ass would be tweeting 100 times a day if I had to.
That's why it's going to benefit the high school players that are coming up, or Lance, somebody that wants to transfer in the portal, to be as active on social media as they can, because a lot of that is going to be based on your social media evaluation.
Yeah, and I don't know how this is going to work. Like, it should be, the valuation really should be, how good are you on the field?
Right.
I mean, that's what makes the most sense. That's the reason a guy like Underwood is going to get $10 million to sign with either LSU or Michigan, is because of what he brings on the field. Like, what about some of these guys that don't have social media?
That's on them. I mean, I hate it for them. Like, if I don't want to be on social media, but it's going to hurt your evaluation.
I love how naive you guys are.
Oh, it's still going to happen under the table. I'm just saying.
It's like Tommy Tuberville saying Indiana bought their team. You don't think Tuberville bought players back
of course
then?
they did.
Okay, but let me tell you. Okay, so I'm a 5-star recruit.
Okay.
And my social media has got to create this amount of traction to get this amount of
That's
money.
right. There'll be a
You'll pay a student, right?
That is
Like a Taylor Corn.
There'll be 16 of her at every football program that'll be creating
good for her.
The algorithms and all of that to keep that being pushed out.
Yep.
The fans will be encouraged to like and subscribe everything. And I mean,
It would almost
easy peasy.
almost be worth the player to hire somebody like a Taylor Corn.
You won't have to. The university will do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I'm talking even in high school. Like, when you're a high school recruit, if I'm a 5-star, this is the business idea that will happen.
Yeah, I'll almost make a pact with the girlfriend if she's really good at social media.
Yep.
Hey, look, even if we don't work out, I'm going to give you a cut.
There will be, and there probably already are, there'll be companies that do this. Like, mom and dad hire Jim Dunaway Incorporated. He'll manage and maximize your son's social media, and it will pay off in the long run. I just don't know how known these rules are. Like, some of this stuff was kind of new to us. We do this every day. Now, it is an exhausting storyline when you talk about the house settlement and NIL rules. I mean, that is just stuff we don't do on the show a lot because it's pretty boring. I mean, it has to be a big time story for us to even touch it.
But all we're going to is the way we thought NIL was going to be originally.
Correct.
We started this venture, and one of the reasons we were starting it was like, NIL is coming. So there's going to be 62 athletes who are going to need some place to do car commercials.
That's what we thought. Yeah.
And Radio Shack commercials.
Radio Shack.
And I still think it would have made sense. But the problem, and Suttle's brought this up on Bama and Bourbon too, like how many college guys are doing national commercials? You've got Quinn Ewers.
Yep. It's the high-end guys.
I mean, who else, though?
Well, I mean, with
Fansville.
But keep in mind, Bryce Young had several $1 million of endorsements, and we never saw his commercials. But they were legitimate commercials. Like, he had agreements with all these people. But you're right, Quinn Ewers and Fansville.
Even locally, the only billboard ad, anything I've seen, I saw Brew McCoy on an HV billboard in Knoxville when I was there.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything local. Like Alabama and Auburn players, I thought going into NIL, it would be flooded with billboards, television commercials.
I thought it'd be every
spots.
one of our commercial breaks would be, hey, I'm Mark Sears.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make
for
threes.
Sears and Roebuck. I'm not related, but for the Christmas gift you want, I just went 3 great names from the past: Radio Shack, LaVoie's, and Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah,
None of those are still alive,
I like
right?
the fact that you add the and Roebuck. I don't think that's been on there for 40 years.
Hey, Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Did you ever go?
I did, but it seems so cheap.
Yeah. I think
it was like you buy something there, it's going to be broken within 6 weeks.
There were Radio Shacks in the malls, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There was one in Brookwood.
Standalone?
You walk in, Applebee's is right there on your left, and it was 2 shops down.
There were Radio Shacks. Is Foot Locker still a thing?
Yeah.
I used to love Foot
That's
Locker.
where they wear their jerseys.
Yeah, they wear the referee uniform.
Yeah, it's still a thing.
We had Hang 10 was before Athlete's Foot, the Athlete's Foot.
Yeah, that's right. Hang 10 was the shoe store. Yep.
It then became
Did that become the
place Michael Jordan went to.
What is the name of that?
Just for
feet.
Just for
Hang
feet.
10 became eventually Just for Feet, right? So it was Athlete's Foot and then Just for Feet.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
And then Orange Julius. That was here.
Music
Land was back here.
Yep.
Orange Julius was here. Aladdin's Castle was here.
I
got thrown out of that mall probably 15 times.
I don't doubt that one bit. That is not a surprise to me at all. I liked Aladdin's Castle, though. That was
I did
fun.
too.
And you could have a good time.
Do you remember a guy named Anthony Smiley that played at Alabama? Was it defensive event.
Yeah.
He ran Aladdin's Castle in Brookwood for a while.
Did he really?
Yeah, I befriended him. Then he started working for UPS. Nicest dude in the world. Used to give me free tokens.
See, people, I mean, it's sort of sad, but just going to the mall.
It's going to be a dying.
Well, it is
incredible
basically now.
Yeah.
I mean, our buddy Michael sent me a picture. I didn't put it on the air today. He goes, I'm working. I'm at the Galleria, and y'all's day one set is still set up. And I said, it is.
It will be forever.
Day one. Today's our 833rd show, but our first ever on-air project was SEC Media Days, and that's still set up out there.
You could come by show 1600 and it's still going to be there.
I'll get a text like once or twice a year, and it will be somebody sending me like the shot of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
people are confused.
They still think that we do stuff from.
Oh, I know. People are like, why are y'all not in your studio? And I'm like, buddy, that was our studio for 1 week of our life.
Yeah. That's what he sent today. I mean, it's still sitting there.
Still there.
Still looks good, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's us day one. I mean, that'll look pretty damn good, didn't it?
Yeah. If you ever want to know what mall life was like, there are still movies from the 80s and even movies from the 90s like Mallrats.
It was a magical place.
It really was. And I thought Stranger Things in season, I think it was 3.
Yeah.
How they recaptured the mall life.
So growing up in Anniston, you had Quintard Mall in Oxford, just off the interstate there.
They had an Orange Julius, right?
Yeah, Quintard Mall, but it was pretty, honestly, just low rent. Didn't have a lot of the big name stores.
They had Chick-fil-A.
Eventually, I don't think
Chick-fil-A I ever got was Century Plaza.
I think the first one I ever had was Eastwood Mall, and then you had Gadsden Mall, which was
Century
just up
Plaza,
the road.
by the way. Eastwood Mall was.
They didn't have a Chick-fil-A?
No, Century Plaza was across.
Then it was Century Plaza, yeah. But so you had Gadsden Mall in Gadsden, you had Quintard Mall in Oxford Anniston. Going to the Galleria was magical to me. I mean, first of all, it was Christmas time.
Yep.
Like you went to the Galleria for Christmas. And man, it was just an incredible place. And my parents would, they'd say, hey, meet me right back here at 8:00 or whatever. And they'd let me and my brother or me and my friends just roam through the mall. And man, it was a magical place. I loved it.
I did too.
Loved it. The smell of it just smelled good. Like you'd smell Cindy Cinnamons. And you remember Barney's coffee? You'd smell Barney's coffee.
We would go so we would do the Aladdin's Castle. We would go buy records. We'd go to Spencer's. And we'd eat at the food court. And those 4 things, could roughly take, 4 or 5 hours.
I just sent Taylor the picture, and she wasn't with us then. That's how long ago that was. And it's still set up in the Galleria.
I know, that is crazy to think about. Taylor wasn't part of that.
Well, why it's still set up? Because somebody's going to take it down.
Yeah, that's right. Not us. I always think of Taylor as a day one, but I always forget she's not. But she is in my heart.
I know. I do too.
Yeah, Taylor's a day one.
Yeah, I don't remember life pre-Taylor at the next round.
Yeah. So, Taylor we'll always consider her a day one, but she was officially not a day one. But we'll always consider.
I won't.
You will not consider Taylor a day one?
She's not. She's not a day one.
Taylor, you're always a day one to me.
Should have been a day one.
Yep. Yeah. I wish we'd known about it.
She was still in school. I'm not going to take those last few months away from Taylor. Those were magical times at Auburn.
She wouldn't have given them up.
Yeah. Richard says Sam Goody's Music Shop you were forgetting.
Okay, so Sam Goody's was not. I think there might have been a Sam Goody's at Century Plaza, but Music Land was definitely Brookwood Mall.
Yeah. Ray said malls during Christmas really gave you the Christmas spirit. They did, man. You'd feel like,
you could go there right now.
Yeah.
I remember there was a Ruby Tuesdays in the Galleria.
Right.
And so my ex-wife, like Bethany, would go shop, and I'd just go sit at that bar. Hey, come get me when you're done.
Where were the kids?
You would see a lot. No, this was before kids.
Oh, before kids.
Yeah, you'd see a lot of dudes sitting at that bar, too.
Yeah, just
like I always thought a pop-up bar in the mall back in the day would have been great during the holiday season.
Yeah.
Great business idea.
Jody says Quintard Mall was magical for a kid raised in Wedowee. I bet it was. That was my Galleria, so he was coming from Wedowee. Jay says season 3 Stranger Things, the mall stuff was that good.
It was. I mean, because they replicated everything with the brands. I mean, it was perfect.
We got 30 minutes to go here on the show, 30-ish minutes. Reminder, we're at Rodney Scott's in Trussville, one of the great locations of Rodney Scott's Barbecue.
Yeah, not only like lunch, dinner, whenever, tonight, tomorrow, whatever you want to do there, but they really want to let you know Thanksgiving is on them. Like, you don't have to put in the hard work putting the turkey together. Didn't work out for Clark Griswold, right?
Did not. Nope, did not.
These are the spatchcock turkeys cooked on their pits directly over the coals, seasoned with their famous rib rub and the Rod's original sauce. They've got the QR code available right now. You can go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com. We've got a link up on our website. But not only the incredible turkeys that you can get, selection of southern sides, meals, desserts, all available, all turnkey for Thanksgiving. Again, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
South Carolina better than Georgia?
No.
You would agree with that, Dunaway?
Georgia's a scary team, too.
I'll tell you, again, I keep going back to this. Georgia in Williams-Brice night game, that is a tough win for them. That's a really difficult win.
I can't trust Georgia. I've seen how bad they are.
Especially on the road, away from Athens.
But Georgia is one of those teams, like if I would not get past 3 or 4 to hitch my wagon. If I only had one team, Georgia would be in the top 3.
It may be Georgia the team I'd pick. I'm just saying that I can't trust them.
Oscar Delp finally showed up.
He did, and boy was he good against
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
And you know, not only going to him and targeting him, but some of the catches he made.
That one in the back of the end zone, that first touchdown he had.
Yeah, he's not going to be Brock Bowers, but Nate Frazier is going to grow a little bit at the running back position. I think their biggest problem right now, twofold: the offensive line, and then Carson Beck, the inconsistencies on the road.
I agree with that.
How long is ETN out?
I don't know. I think it's week to week.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
so he could be back for them.
They won't need him until December 21st.
Well, they don't run the ball particularly well even when he's there. I mean, that's one thing. Georgia has not run the ball well. That's offensive line related because I think Frazier and ETN are really good running backs. I mean, we've seen ETN behind what I would think would be a lesser offensive line in Florida. And the guy still was a 1,000-yard rusher at Florida, I think. South Carolina better than Tennessee?
I think they are.
Boy, then we're there. Boise, SMU, BYU, Colorado.
All those.
Yeah. Clemson. We'll get to see that on the field.
Oh, yeah. And where's that game?
That's in Clemson.
I still think South Carolina wins the game.
I do too.
Yeah. I think Clemson will be a 4.5, 5-point favorite.
Yeah. I mean, you watch Clemson at Pitt Saturday.
Hey, how big would that game be, by the way, if Clemson didn't play Georgia week 1?
Oh, that's what we talked about earlier today. There's a handful of teams. You could say if they didn't play one game, they're right in the college football playoff picture. Like Texas A&M technically is in the picture because they could still win the SEC, but they would definitely be in the picture if they didn't play Notre Dame.
Dude, if
they hit open with Northwestern State,
we all agreed that people were going to schedule tougher. And I know this is becoming a little redundant, but moving forward, if I'm a coach in the SEC or the Big Ten, I'm not scheduling tough out of conference. I'm not doing it.
I want to see how it ends up, but you're right. I mean, there are going to be 6 teams with 2 losses that are legitimate, I think, good enough to be in the playoffs. And people are like, well, if we just went to 9 SEC games, we'd eliminate this problem. Yeah, we would. We'd eliminate SEC teams.
Yeah, you're not going.
We're going to continue to beat up on each other. We'd be giving us the third loss in conference because you played an extremely tougher schedule. If you want 0 good out of conference games, go to that 9th game and they'll definitely give you three cupcakes.
Yeah,
and I'm going to seek it out.
Game.
Like I'm not playing teams like Tulane anymore. There's not a chance.
But I mean, there's nothing to gain by that. I hate it for John Summerall. Yeah. Of course, he won't be there when they have to do these new schedules.
But I guess the scary thing is when you schedule these things out, you don't know what it's going to be like.
That's right. I mean, there was a time when Tulane was an easy dub.
Like Ole Miss. Ole Miss had a home and home with Tulane.
Yeah.
That the second leg of that home and home gets played next year. Yeah. That first leg was tough enough on them. Yeah. And that was pre-John Summerall.
Yeah. Like imagine if A&M.
Of course, now it was Willie Fritz, who's a good coach too.
If A&M would have canceled Notre Dame and they would have rescheduled with Indiana, A&M fans would have been like, "You got to be kidding!" Well,
in the preseason they'd been yes,
and then everybody would be like, "I cannot believe they are ducking this team and they're scheduling Indiana." You just didn't know how good they were going to be.
Yeah,
but imagine now, Coastal Carolina, you scheduled them.
That's a good year to schedule them.
Yeah. I mean,
Appalachian State, good year to schedule.
You'd have scheduled them 5 years ago. You'd be like, okay, man, why are you scheduling Coastal?
Yeah. And
or Appalachian State, you're scheduling yourself a possible loss.
And you schedule UNLV right now. You're like, damn, why did I do that? And they were completely awful 2 years ago.
But let's go to the bottom of the top 12 here, bottom half of the top 12, and you tell me a team that, much like in basketball, where we talked about this with Alabama and Auburn, when it comes selection time, they'll be rewarded just for playing the schedule, win or lose. Give me a team that you think will be rewarded just for playing a game. I don't think there is one. Like Notre Dame, if they end up with 2 losses, they're probably out of this thing. Nobody's going to say, okay, they had 2 losses, but let's reward them for going to Notre Dame. They're going to be out.
They're going to be out, and I think a lot of that is Northern Illinois.
There's no doubt about it.
Like if they would have lost College Station and then they lose to maybe USC, maybe you can find an argument for Notre Dame to get in, but Northern Illinois would keep them out.
Non-ACC champion Miami, they're not going to say, yeah, but they went to Florida. They're not going to say that. I mean, Miami's going to be out of this thing.
Yeah, but there's a chance that Florida's going to look different by the time we get to Selection Sunday.
I agree, but not enough to get Miami in with 2 losses.
No, but that's getting to be a better loss.
It is. I don't disagree with you. Or a better win for Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
Even Boise, Boise's, they're going to get in if they're a conference champion or not. But like Tennessee played NC State, that's not going to help Tennessee at all.
No, but when they scheduled that was supposed to be a really tough game.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But it's not going to help them one bit if they're a bubble team. Like Georgia.
That's a great example. Should Tennessee be punished for their schedule?
How do you police that? I agree with you. They scheduled NC State when NC State was a pretty good team.
Alabama, Wisconsin. We're giving Alabama a credit for that win in Madison, but that Wisconsin team's not even good.
Not a good Indiana, Michigan,
Yeah.
Like we laugh, Indiana hasn't played anybody. Well, they played a team that was 15-0 last year.
Like it feels like in college basketball, we judge these teams based on their pre-conference schedule, and in college football, they only get judged on their actual conference schedule. That's really the only thing we could judge them on, because those their non-conference schedules are made a decade in advance, so you never know who's going to be any good or any bad.
Okay, so I'm asking this question because I heard what somebody believed the answer was earlier today. So Georgia plays Indiana neutral site. Georgia plays Penn State neutral site.
What do you mean by that?
No,
well,
what do you think the numbers? What do you guys think the number would be? Georgia
point spread or the outcome?
Yeah, the point spread. Georgia, Indiana neutral site, and then Georgia, Penn State.
I think it would be about the same point spread. I would say Georgia's a 8.5 point favorite.
I'd say 13.5 with Penn State, 17.5 with Indiana.
I thought in the way I would list it against Indiana, I would probably put it 10. And I probably would go 7.5 against Penn State. And I'd play Georgia in both of them.
I like how you set the number.
This was, God, is his name Ed Salmons, John Salmons? He's one of the official lines makers in Vegas. He had Georgia only 3 over Penn State and only 7 over Indiana. I'm like, there is no way.
You take that to the bank all day long.
You give me Georgia -3 against Penn State.
I'd put my house on.
There's two factors there. First of all, Georgia's much better, and you got James Franklin.
And Georgia is going to be, when they play them, a top 10 team. And what does James Franklin do against top 10 teams? That's your point.
Yeah, and I know Dunaway said this, and I do agree. It's hard to trust any of these teams at the top. We said it. But I will tell you, you're going to be able to get some value in the first round of the playoffs.
So here's what we're talking about.
There's going to be some bad lines, by the way.
As John said, Texas went to Michigan and won. Looked great early. Now Texas is beating who? Vanderbilt? I hate that Texas is getting punished for that. Right? Don't you hate that Texas is getting punished for that?
I don't see how they're getting punished. It's a big win.
Well, they're getting punished because people are saying they didn't beat anybody.
Yeah, it is a shame that their biggest wins, record-wise, are Colorado State at 7-3 and 6-4 Vandy.
Yeah.
But Michigan, they played well. Michigan was a good win.
Well, it's a good win because it's a brand of Michigan.
Yeah. It's still a really good defense. That was the best Texas's offense has looked.
So you're saying there are going to be some fishy lines in these first rounds, you think?
I think that you're going to get some undervalued teams. I think much like what I just said with the Georgia Penn State, I think you're going to get some small numbers.
Okay.
And I think there's going to be some favorites you really can take advantage of.
So the 5-12 game would be Ohio State, Brigham Young, and Columbus. What's the point spread there?
Oh, that's going to be a little different, Brown. That's going to be Ohio State probably 15-17
in the first round.
Yeah. That's an outlier, though.
What if it is, let's just do any possible Big 12 champion. What, Arizona State would be about the same?
Oh, yeah.
Colorado would be about the same?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're talking Big 12 here.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And you're going against a brand like Ohio State and Columbus.
So your 6-11 is Georgia at Penn State. You just said, somebody said it'd be like 3.5.
Neutral site.
Yeah.
So
what in State College?
Based on this, and this is what this guy gets paid to do, would be probably Georgia 1.5.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Now, I think realistically by that time it's probably Georgia 4.5.
Yeah. Even then, mybookie.ag all over that one, Dunaway. About you?
I mean, what was Ohio State, 3.5? In State College, I think it was
4.5. I think
Might
it was
have been.
4.5. Yeah.
Well, look, they got down 10-0. They didn't have a problem covering it.
All right.
When you're through with this, I got an exercise as well.
Okay. 7-10 is Indiana, Ole Miss, and Bloomington.
That would be Ole Miss 3.5.
So
I don't
the last two are home dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Big Ten, home dogs. And then Bama at Notre Dame, the 8-9 game.
Bama is going to be at that time, I would say Bama is a 6-point favorite.
Only home team that likes Ohio State.
Yeah. In that scenario, though, that would be an Alabama. That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is this you can't really do Alabama in this.
Because at that point, right, Alabama's going to have to have won both of their games, gone to an SEC championship,
and lost.
If they won the SEC championship, they go in as the 2 seed.
That's right.
So plug that. Who do they play? Winner of who?
Ole Miss, Indiana in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then if they lose, we're told they're not going to be out of the playoffs. Probably will be an 11 seed. Is Alabama in a better shape losing the SEC championship game? You don't want to because you don't know what the committee will do. But being an 11 seed in this
particular bracket,
who do they play?
Well, they would be at Penn State, and then they would get Miami.
Yeah, as opposed to
right
now where they are. Now where they are, where they would get
as the 2
Notre
seed,
Dame on the road, and then Oregon.
Yeah, or as the 2 seed, they get the Ole Miss Indiana winner, but they get a neutral site. Ole Miss is a tricky team, but there again, I mean, we are all of a sudden trusting Lane Kiffin because he's won one big game.
Yeah,
I mean,
I trust his defensive line, but I hear what you're saying.
By the way, I think Alabama neutral site would be favored over everyone in college football outside of Georgia.
So you think when Bama and Georgia rematch, so it could be in Atlanta, and Georgia I think Georgia would still be the favorite.
Yeah, they'll be a short favorite.
They keep making Georgia the favorite in that game, and Georgia keeps losing that game. They never learn.
I think Georgia would be like 2.5.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we end up playing this thing out and the national championship game again is Alabama and Georgia?
That's right.
We've done all this to get away from what it was in Indianapolis.
Don't discount.
Your man Danny Cannell would completely have a meltdown.
Yeah, but he's getting his way. I mean, there's going to be 2 really good SEC teams left out. It's going to be same number of SEC and Big Ten teams here, and that's a crime.
Don't discount the possibility of Alabama, Georgia in Atlanta, and then Alabama, Georgia again in Atlanta. I mean, that's not the craziest scenario.
This will be the most affordable SEC championship ticket of all time if it's Georgia, Alabama.
Oh, I agree with you. That'll be a down crowd because they'll be waiting. But, I mean, you could see that game 3 times this year. I mean, it's not that crazy.
Could see Oregon, Ohio State 3 times, too.
Don't want to see that.
Good. I don't want to see either one of them 3 times. John says something got to give game. Lane Kiffin versus James Franklin. I got more faith in Lane Kiffin than I do James Franklin.
That would be.
And Ole Miss better team.
Yeah.
That'd be like watching 2 horses race their way to a glue factory.
You know what's funny? Back to Cannell and all these national guys that really are anti-SEC. You know, finally with a 12-team playoff, you can never bitch about an SEC team winning the national championship.
That's right.
Because I don't care if half the field is SEC, you are going to earn your way to a national championship now.
You will. And the same way, if the Big Ten wins it, then they've earned their way to get there because they would have beaten an SEC team or 2 along the way.
Zach asked if Morgan is there. So if you don't know the story about Morgan, will you come over? You good to do it? If you don't know, you may have to slide in here a little bit. That side over there. If you don't know the story about Morgan, we'll close the show with him. Morgan is a avid viewer and listener of the next round.
Fascinating guy because, get in the background. I just assume what Dunaway told the story a couple of weeks ago.
Pull in a little bit closer to
that Morgan driving to every home game, 400 miles.
Right.
One way, 400 miles, one way back, that he just didn't like flying, that he was scared to fly. This guy was in the Air Force. He's not scared to fly. He loves to drive.
Yep.
Also works at Fort Knox.
Go ahead. You can grab that mic, Morgan. First of all, welcome in. Morgan Crabtree is your name. How are you, Morgan?
Not supposed to say the Fort Knox thing.
Oh, is that not?
That's private.
Oh,
Security reason. I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's no dump. First of all, how you doing, man?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good.
Having me?
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for supper. I appreciate that.
Morgan was telling me about all the alien bodies we replaced the gold with at Fort Knox.
Be saying that now.
So how was the barbecue though here at Rodney's?
Great.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I had the shoulder.
Yeah, the shoulder's
Pork
good.
Shoulder. It was good.
Yeah, pork shoulder's good. So Elizabethtown, Kentucky is how far from here?
From Birmingham, 5 hours.
5 hours. And for those that don't
What
know,
about Tuscaloosa?
6.
6 to Tuscaloosa. For those that don't know, you drive from Elizabethtown, Kentucky to every single Alabama home basketball game.
Correct.
Unless the weather is just atrocious.
Yep. Correct.
So I didn't ask you this. You did tell us that you just really enjoy doing it. It's almost like therapy for you, like therapeutic. You love being behind the wheel, listening to us, other shows, all that kind of stuff. So did you just randomly, like one time, hey, I'm going to drive to Tuscaloosa, I'm going to go to this game, and then once you did it, you were like, I'm going to keep doing this?
Well, yeah. There was some games that I went to back in 2009 when I was in the Air Force, and that's when it started.
Yeah.
And then
Did you go to Bama?
no.
Okay, so you're just to Alabama. Are you from here?
No. I got family that's, genetics. My genetics is from here a little bit.
But you didn't grow up in Alabama at
No,
all?
I grew up in Kentucky. Wow. I got some relatives up in the cemetery up in North Alabama.
Okay, all right. Were they Bama fans?
No, this is a long time ago. But
How does that Bama tattoo fly in Kentucky? Kentucky doesn't like Alabama, by the way.
no, I know that.
Yeah, you've learned that?
Yeah, yeah.
Your wife's a cat, though, isn't she?
No, she's converted. Though.
She's converted. She was a Kentucky fan.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you were in the Air Force. You became a Bama fan.
that's right.
And you
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely. How long
In
were
the
you
Air Force, too.
How long were you in the Air Force?
6 years.
Where all did you serve?
I was in. All my time was in the States. But I was in Texas and then Mississippi, and then a little time in Illinois, and then Arizona.
Yeah. And a lot of people like Lamb I Believer are blown away that a guy from Kentucky didn't choose Kentucky basketball. Like, you're not a Bama football fan, you're a Bama basketball fan.
Yeah.
And you were a Kentucky.
I'm a football
Well, I
fan.
know that, but I'm just saying.
No, basketball to me is
Yeah, I asked him earlier. I was like,
football. Oh, I mean, I love football, but
what do you like?
King.
What do you like better? And the easiest way to get the answer is, who would you rather see win a national
Oh,
championship?
basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands
you,
down.
You almost saw it last year.
Yep, I was there.
I know. We talked about you driving, and that's what Lance, when Dunaway said you drove all the way from Elizabethtown, Kentucky to Phoenix.
Good old E-Town.
E-Town, Dunaway, Lance was like, God, guy hates to fly. And then we found out
No,
you're
I
in the
love
Air
it.
Force.
It's just, here's a backstory behind that.
Okay.
So I was watching last week when there was the assumption I didn't like to fly. Well, I like to fly. It's just
You like to eat, too.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I never driven across country,
Right.
and I think that everybody should drive across country at least once.
I agree with that.
And that was a prime opportunity. And
Good reason to do it, yeah.
my stepbrother drives over the road and for a living, and there was a few stops I needed to make in Oklahoma, and one of them is what's that? There's a Oklahoma fried onion burger place that's just west of Oklahoma City. It's Robert's Grill.
Okay.
Sorry if I wasn't supposed to plug anything.
No, that's fine.
okay.
You're all good.
It's Robert's
Yeah.
Grill. It's in El Reno, Oklahoma.
Yep.
It's right off the 40.
Right.
They're famous for Oklahoma fried onion burgers. I had to stop there and eat something. They're great.
Did it live up to the
Oh yeah.
fried onion burger?
Oklahoma fried onion burgers. They were made famous in the Depression, where meat was scarce and onions were plentiful.
So they put onions in the meat and patty together?
No, it's just onions?
Oh, they dice up onions they slice them like rings, real super thin.
Yeah.
And then they have like 80-20 beef, and they take like make them flat like a smash burger,
Yeah.
and then just load them up with the onions while they're cooking on the grill.
So
Okay.
more substance is the onion.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that's a lot of onion, man. I'm not a big onion
I
guy.
mean, go on YouTube and just look up.
Yeah, I love onions, but a
they're
lot
good,
sounds like a lot.
Because
they're good. I mean, I don't like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Great.
we were you've heard of the show. We were a mud puddle for me. So when times were hard, we would have the ground chuck or whatever it was, and there'd be the heels of the bread would be in there, and the onion would be in there as well when they would do the patty. So it would make up, it would take away from some of the meat. The meat went further,
Right.
Because there was some bread.
You didn't eat a lot of meat, yeah.
And an egg was in there as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there to make the meat go further.
Were there ever a time where James Sr. was like, hey, you need to go steal the Birmingham News Sunday paper from the neighbor?
No. We always found back then it was just 50 cents, I think, for the Sunday paper. Got to be $1.
So you decided to drive across country. You think everybody should do that. So you just took off
At least
for
once,
Phoenix.
everybody should,
So
yeah.
I kind of agree with you. I told, we were talking, he and I, earlier about,
And do it with your kids if possible. I haven't done that yet, but I want to do it.
Yeah, but
I haven't done it yet with my kids yet.
this whole going to the Final Four thing is not mind-boggling to me. What's mind-boggling to me is I'm walking in for the McNeese State game the other night,
Yep.
and you're down here for the McNeese State game, which I think was a Monday night.
not just the big
It was
game.
Veterans Day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Monday night.
He told me Eastern Kentucky on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's okay if you're coming for
no.
conference
No, no.
games. I'm like, okay, I'll load up and drive 6 hours for conference games or rivalry games or
Yeah.
even 5 hours to come see Illinois, Alabama tonight. But you were there for McNeese State on a Monday night, and then you were telling me you had to be back at work like at 5:30 in the morning or something.
Yeah, Central Time. Yeah, I'm on. Where I live at, it's an Eastern Time zone. So, 6:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Central.
So he's going to drive all night and go into
Oh,
work.
I know. I talked to him about it.
So
o'clock.
the first game of the year was a 9 o'clock Eastern Time tip, 8 Central.
Like tonight.
Yeah, like tonight is, and that was on a Monday night as well, and against Asheville.
Yeah.
And I have to be at work in my office on Fort Knox on Tuesdays. I work remote like most days, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays I have to be in physically on site.
I told him there's a thing called a hotel.
Well, on those nights I can't because I had to be there. It's
Yeah.
mandatory.
Yeah.
But,
So do you have to work tomorrow?
I mean, I had to work from the house.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's going to be what I like to call a nap day.
I wish. But I had to actually go into the office on that Tuesday after the season opener, and so I drove back. My son had to go to school. Luckily, he was able to sleep in the car on the way home. But I went straight from Tuscaloosa and drove all night back home. Got home at about 5 a.m. Stayed up, grabbed a shower and went to work.
That just blows my
I
mind.
went and voted first, and then
Good for you.
went to work. Exercised my right to vote.
Priorities. I
That's
like
right. I like that. Man, fall for that right, my friends, for all of us. What is your favorite, other than, I would assume, clinching a trip to the Final Four, your favorite Alabama basketball moment other than that?
I didn't hear you. I'm
Your
sorry.
favorite Alabama basketball moment other than
Moment?
Yeah, other than clinching the Final Four. I think
Okay.
that'd be number one.
Easy. In St. Louis, watching that buzzer beater, that little floater,
That was SEC tournament, right?
in the
Yeah.
SEC tournament in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was
favorite Alabama basketball player of all time.
Robert Ory.
Well, that's old school.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go Mark Sears.
Robert Ory or Truss Sprewell.
Wow. The
I'd say it's a tie there.
Okay. Tie between Ori and Sprewell.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I thought you might go Petway. You were showing me a photo of you meeting Antoine Petway.
Petway's on there too.
Yeah, Petway's on your Mount Rushmore
Three-way
Alabama
tie.
hoops. Three-way tie.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
Did you get a little emotional when they ran on the court at the Final Four? I did.
Do what?
When they ran on the court at the Final Four, they were finally there and they came
Yep.
out for warm-ups. I
Yep.
got a little emotional.
For sure.
I found myself sitting there going, I
I
never
did
thought
too.
I'd see this.
I did too. Yep.
Yeah, a little teared
I
up.
too.
Huh?
Not as emotional as it was when they got that West Regional final.
Yeah. So,
You know what I'm saying?
so Morgan is in Kentucky. I didn't know this, but 3-6 Troy, who's in our chat room all the time, is also a Kentucky guy. He's in Campbellsville, Kentucky, when he watches the show every day.
Have you all met?
No.
No, you haven't. No, okay. I don't
Beautiful
know.
state.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm about hour from Lexington,
Yeah.
about 40 minutes from Louisville.
Okay. Well, enjoy the game tonight, man, and safe
thanks,
travels
man.
back home. A lot of people in the
Appreciate
chat room are like, man, I'm impressed by this guy.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Hey, go Rams.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Vamos.
Rams fan, too. Oh, of course.
Whose
Yeah, of
house?
course.
Rams house.
That's right. Hey, but 2 games last year. It was one of them was for weather. Like I said, I served in the Air Force down south a little bit, down in Biloxi.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like not having the infrastructure for weather.
Right.
I'm not driving on ice in Alabama.
You shouldn't.
So I know better than that.
Yep.
So I'm not driving down here last year. I did drive down here for that Missouri game with ice. I was watching Aldot's cameras because it was below zero up home, and we got snow, and then I was watching snow. It's snow as far as Athens and Decatur, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Birmingham, 2059 place. I said, no way.
Shutting it down.
And then at the Mississippi State game, my daughter was playing. She had a basketball tournament at our high school, and I was like, Dad time.
That's right. That's the
Best
right
time I was
call.
there.
Yeah, good for you. Well, enjoy the game tonight,
Thanks,
man.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
very
thanks-
good to meet you.
Yeah,
man.
great
Likewise.
meeting you. Yeah.
Likewise, roll tide.
That's Morgan, big fan of the show, big fan of Crimson Tide basketball. We're Rodney Scott's. Lance, before we get out of here,
See you down there.
tell them about Rodney Scott.
Yeah, look, we are almost a week away from Thanksgiving. If you have not planned your meal, these guys at Rodney Scott's, they can do it for you. Thanksgiving with Rodney Scott's Pit Cooked Barbecue, the spatchcock turkey cooked on their pits directly over the coals, seasoned with their famous rib rub and Rod's original sauce. You can go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com. We've got a link up. We'll have it up all week and next week. We got QR code. You can just scan it right there. You can get a selection of sides, meals, and desserts, all Thanksgiving right there. Turnkey, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
All right. Rodney Scott's Trussville. Come out and support them. Support all the Rodney Scotts and enjoy Thanksgiving with a turkey from Rodney Scott's. We'll be back with you. Dunaway's headed to the basketball game. You and Little T have some reaction there post game. Next Round Live
Everything
on social media.
I don't know what T will be sending out, but it'll be something.
Next Round Live on social media. So you can follow there and get reaction from Bama, Illinois. We're back with you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Jam-packed show tomorrow, by the way.
Don't forget trivia.
Oh, yeah. Trivia tonight, Odie's. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Odie's trivia.
So what do we have tomorrow?
Tomorrow we got Dusty Dvorak,
Okay,
From one of Dunaway's-
like it.
Oklahoma guy.
Oklahoma guy.
Yeah.
Aaron Murray.
Like
former
it.
Georgia
Yeah,
quarterback.
Georgia guy.
Roman Harper.
Alabama
Like it,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. And Dan Orlovsky.
Wow.
It's a packed show.
Yep.
You do not want to miss that one.
Nope.
And Tyler's 4 downs. I mean, what more could you do? And trash. And college tradition. We're running out of those. But good news is we're running out of schedule, too.
So I don't need to do show notes.
No, you
tonight.
do not need to do show notes, Dunaway. I think we'll be good. Thank you to Rodney Scott's and Trussville. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow morning.